Hey, what's up? This is Tanerélle, and you're watching The Hip Hop Guru.
My name is Alex. This is another episode of the Sit Down on the Hip Hop Guru, and today we have one of R&B's biggest emerging stars, somebody who's taken the world by storm, Tanerélle, with the accent aigu. No, but the coolest part about it is that it's a very unique name because your mom gave it to you, right?
She did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's cool. How does it feel knowing that you're like the only person in the world with it?
I feel pretty cool, pretty special. Yeah. And it's exciting. It's like, it's me. But also sometimes it's like, ooh, it's me. Like people can find me easily, or if they get that spelling, then they've got me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are doing incredible things. Start off independent, of course, and then you did like 100 million streams as an independent artist. Mm-hmm. How is it like, for one, having that accomplishment, and then for two, sticking with it during that whole time?
It was really cool, especially because I was and am still one of those people where like I was just grateful. So I remember celebrating like my first 500 streams and my first 1,000 streams. I remember on Spotify, like anything that's less than 1,000, it'll say like 1,000 and then like the little less than sign.
Yeah.
It was just so funny. And I was just over the moon. Like I was just like, the fact that anyone is listening. So getting those kind of numbers was very exciting. And you're just like, okay, I'm doing it. And whatever it is that I'm doing, it works. It's found the people it's supposed to find. So it feels like a blessing.
So looking back, what was like the toughest part as the journey was going up that you were able to overcome?
In terms of being an independent artist?
Yeah.
Well, it is really hard to keep pushing and staying persistent and consistent, like especially financially, because you have to pay for everything. So people start coming, they start listening, and they love the music, and then they want more music. So that was a huge challenge. As I feel like most people, for anything it is that they love, like you need money to make money, and
Absolutely.
you need this to make that. But I was always really good at like making do with what I had and like, figuring it out. So, but that was a huge challenge in it, and just keeping your head up, like trying to build that platform without like that big support behind you is definitely more challenging, trying to get yourself heard, and ultimately like wearing so many hats for so long. I was my own manager, attorney, creative director, everything. And so starting in that way, that's really hard as well. So yeah, definitely a lot of little obstacles, but overcoming it made it worth it, because you get to look back and you have that history and you have that wisdom that you don't really get if things are just handed to you.
No, it definitely gives you more of like a stronger knowing of who you are, because a lot of it, if you go up really fast, it's easier to go down really fast, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So a lot of character development and all that stuff. So going all the way back, you grew up in Atlanta and then you moved to LA when you were a little bit older.
Yeah, I moved to LA when I was 18.
And you made your first song at 8 years old.
I wrote my first song at 8, yeah.
And it was about French fries.
It was about Checkers fries, which are my favorite fries.
How was is it still your favorite fries?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I just had this conversation with someone the other day, and they were like, "No, it's McDonald's," and I'm like,
Are you crazy?
"What are we talking about? Like, they're seasoned. They got like the color to them, like where like they were cooked just right. Like I think they might even be a little breaded. Like I don't know, you can't really beat it."
No, my favorite fries are Popeyes French fries.
Popeyes.
Yeah, they put like a seasoned Cajun seasoning on it. That's not even Popeyes doesn't even sponsor us, but I'm giving honorable shout outs.
You're entitled to that opinion.
Absolutely. But you can always taste, like, there's a big difference in fries, and if people say there isn't,
Yeah, do y'all have Checkers out here or Rallies?
Actually, I don't think so. I think it's one in the U.S.
They do have, so you never had them?
No, I haven't.
Interesting.
It's
Understood.
gonna change my life when I try
Understood. I mean, is it this huge life-changing moment? Are your favorite fries still going to be Popeyes? Yeah.
I feel like now once I try the Checkers French fries, like a new color is going to appear, and it's like the lights are going to go from...
And they sell them in the frozen section.
That's how good they are.
Not as good as like going through the drive-through, but we can make this happen for you.
See, that's even better because then you can prepare it to the exact crispy of your choosing.
Literally. So we're gonna get you some Checkers fries.
Oh, see I'm excited for that.
Yeah, me too.
So, what was the first moment in your career that showed you that you knew that this could be something that you could do as a full career path?
I feel like I always thought
knew
I
you
could
had
do
it.
it as a
Yeah.
full career. Yeah, there wasn't one moment where I was like, oh yeah, this is gonna work. It had to work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, I like that. And then you said once that you refused to make relationships based on who people were. And
Absolutely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Talk about that a little bit.
There was just never anything in my mind that felt like anybody in any field would ever go out of their way to do anything for me, especially in response to me strategically trying to make a certain relationship with them in order to get something from them.
Mm-hmm.
And I do feel like that's what's gotten me to where I am now, because there's that love and there's that respect there, and people ultimately end up coming around or being around because they want to.
Mm-hmm.
You put in the work, you plant your own seeds, you let everything bloom, and then people, want part of what's blossoming.
When it's doing well.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I prefer it that way.
Mm-hmm.
And it's less exhausting. It's actually really exhausting trying to use people and trying to carry on things that aren't genuine. So I've never had an interest in that. No,
that's good. It's pretty funny because you can always tell who's there and for certain things that they want as something they have as pre notion, but it's it's really hard to find genuine people. And then once you find genuine people, you really stick with them, because it's not like you can literally go and hang out and then also work with them at the same time, and that's the best. You'll have the most natural relationship. Yeah.
And it's nice it's super cool when things come about naturally in that way, where you're like, oh, we just did this because we really wanted to. I think something that I have been working on overcoming because of that, because it's such a thing of everyone being so strategic about everything, when I actually do need help with something, or I actually really genuinely want to do something with someone, I'm now working on asking. That's the only thing that has been a challenge for me, because it's everybody's asking. Absolutely. Everybody's asking somebody for something. And it's been a thing and a practice of me of getting in my body and knowing, no, you want this, and you genuinely want this, or you genuinely want to know, and that's okay. And thinking about how I feel when someone asks me for something, and I know that it's genuine too. It's I don't give them a hard time, but I give myself way more of a hard time about everything. I mean, down to can you watch my dog? My best friend is watching my dog right now. And it was actually a big challenge of me asking her, even though my baby and her baby love each other. They're sisters and lovers. It's interesting. Dogs are interesting. But it was hard being just asking for what you need or for what you want. So that is something that I am working on. Absolutely.
And it also helps when you have a relationship with somebody that you can trust, because asking your friend for that favor, it's also one thing, but if you're asked a random person, there's kind of you're confused
where the discomfort makes sense of why you would feel do I? So it's falling into that too. You've cultivated these beautiful relationships and these trusting relationships, and even the trusting relationship with yourself and knowing who you are. So it is also okay to be hey, in something that is based in something real.
It's funny you say that too, because everybody always tries to be so perfect, where they feel they know everything. And it's but there's more respect in asking for, help or something like that, even in situations where people will be more willing to give it, even if it's a business thing, people are willing to want to help somebody. Yeah. No, that's cool. So your debut project, it was called 1111.
That was my first EP.
Yeah, the EP, sorry. And so how strong is manifestation for you?
It's everything. I manifested this. My entire life is all manifestations, even the stuff that's not so good. Everything is spoken or thought up.
Yeah. No, that's cool, because literally you have to speak it into existence before it happens, and then you
feel it.
Yeah.
You gotta feel it. You gotta know it's real. You have to know that it's now. You can't like think of it as something like in the future, out of reach. It's like, no, it's here. It's now. And then it's real.
No, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
So the new project, Electric Honey, Encore.
Mm-hmm.
I like the Encore part. Walk us through the journey of this project and, the creation of it and what it means to you.
Well, this was the first thing that I did with Republic after signing with them. Mm-hmm. Another EP. I haven't put out my debut album yet, so hopefully that comes out next year, like, Q3. But it was the first intentional thing, like body of work that I did under them. And it was really cool because it was the first time that I got to create, not so much out of scarcity. Mm-hmm. I got to get a studio whenever I needed a studio. I got to add things to songs whenever I needed to add things to songs. So like with Let Me In, I remember being like, I'm used to hearing the first thing. And like whatever I've recorded, that is what I've recorded. I'm not going back in to retake or anything. And then the most leeway I would have was in mixing, like just sitting and mixing this. But this was the first like opportunity where it was like, or situation where my manager was like, girl, just go back in. And so I went in I feel like we worked on Let Me In for like 3 weeks, and hearing things or wanting to add things, or we added a violinist, like just being able to watch this song come to life and learning and knowing that, like Brandy and Beyonce, you're talking about like these people that like had vocal production, someone coming in and helping you like, oh, maybe sing it this way, or put this energy behind it, or put this feeling behind it. Like I never had the pleasure of that. Mm-hmm. So that was a lot of this project, is having the pleasure of taking my time.
That's important.
And being able to be intentional and work things out. And so that was really beautiful. And I got to work with a lot of really amazing creatives on it. So many different producers and songwriters. Like, it's scary for me. It has been scary for me writing with other people. That's something that's like very precious to me. So I would never do it. And honestly, I never thought I would. Like, maybe outside of like a few favorite people I knew I wanted to work with in the future, I always held it so dear to my heart. But it's like, it's even more dear to me now, because it is a really big thing to like cultivate a safe space with another creative and be able to be like, this is what I'm feeling. And y'all get to write this thing together and make this thing together. So that was Electric Honey.
I like you said that too, because like a lot of your music is very personal as well, right? Mm-hmm. So being able to, even music in general, but especially with yours, because you're pouring so much of you out, Is there a certain point where you feel like you can't share all of what's happening in your life and your music?
Oh, absolutely. There's a lot that I don't talk about. But then I guess ultimately that just comes down to specificity, right? Like, I'm not going to say any names because that makes it even more real and more like personal and more this thing. And then there's some things I'm not ready to talk about, but I do talk about a lot.
You're pretty open in your music, yeah. So in the selection of the collaborations that you went with, how did you choose those artists for those songs?
Yeah, some artists came about by way of like reaching out. Some artists came by way of my manager being like, have you worked with this person? Maybe this person. Or my A&R being like, hey, what about this person we want to get you? And it's really cool because it's ultimately people being like, we know you and we know your sound and we know your music, and having an ear for like, we think this would be a great collaboration, and then pretty much being on the nose about it, which is really, really cool. It's a hard thing to do because I hear a lot of horror stories about people in the studio, and I don't have any. I don't have any like, dang, that was a waste. Yeah. Dang, what was that? Like every time someone's like, we think you should get in with this person, it's like magic.
Because every feature, literally, the compliment was perfect. Each song, it was like, and there's so many, like, there's not many albums or EPs rather, that you can listen to and then play it back and listen again. Yeah. But this one that you just put out is like one of those ones.
Thank you.
No, and I liked with IMANU. Yeah. I loved that beat. Like, it was like really fun.
It's him and Machinedrum, who I work with regularly. But yeah, that was good. When I first heard that, I actually heard that for the first time last year in like this pack that Machine has sent me, and that song, it starts way different than how it starts here. I had them trim the intro off of it.
Oh yeah.
So what's funny is like the way it starts, it's like super upbeat. It's like this whole other vibe to the point like I almost skipped that one, but I was like, oh, let me just let it pay through and see. And then those chords came in, and my heart literally sank.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I need
You're like, that's the one.
I was like, I need this. Can I have it, please? You get scared when you hear something, because I love creating from scratch.
Yeah.
So it's hard when someone sends you like a pack, because you can hear something that you love and they're like, I already gave this away. Or, I remember there was one guy, he had this like, I still like get sad about it to this day. It was a fire beat. It was so good. He was like, yeah, Don Tolliver took
Oh.
What can I do?
Yeah.
That's the
like,
super sad part when you're like, I can't even fight you on that, bro. Like, congratulations.
Yeah, you're like, get me on the remix, man. Come on.
Yeah, come on. But yeah, so I was like, God, I hope this is available. And then especially when I ended up finally writing to it, like I said, that was like last year. So when I finally got around and us getting in the studio, we were working on a whole different song, and we needed like a palette cleanser. So we played that one, and that's how that came about. So I'm glad it worked out.
I like the Foggieraw one as well, where he came out. He's like, hey.
Gentle. Oh my God, I'm such a huge Foggieraw fan. He's so brilliant, and his sound and everything about him is very nostalgic and timeless, and I love that. And I'm excited for more of that to like make its rounds and more artists like within that pocket, like to break away again.
He's one of those artists that like is true to the creative side as well, and then you know when you listen to it, you actually hear a story. And
it's very real. Like when he first of all, when he said yes, I was like, oh my, like I wanted to cry. And when he sent the verse, like I was in the car with my best friend Crystal, and I was like, listen to this. We're literally like, I didn't even tell her what it was, like, because she's a huge fan too, so I just played the song. Yeah. And when he came in, she was like, wait a minute. Like, it was this whole, she's like, run it back, where she's hanging out the window, where like, it was a really exciting thing. And I love that. Because that's just how I feel about my co-creatives. Like, you don't have to be, I respect the people I've looked up to my entire life, but you also don't have to be someone that I've listened to since I was a kid to like feel that impact and feel your impact as an artist, to be like, I'm honored. I'm honored to have you on this, especially this early in a very long, beautiful career that I know is ahead of him. So
100%.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. So what's something about, and that was beautifully said, what's something about this project that people that are fans about it wouldn't know about it?
Something about it that people wouldn't know? I guess like maybe about the cover. Like none of those pictures were supposed to be the cover. Like that was a press shoot, that I did with my friend Sasha Samsonova. She's incredible. That was supposed to be like just press to when we did drop it, and you know,
put it out there.
Put it out there. Here's like pictures for articles, but they were just so fire. I was like,
they're good ones.
Well, this is it. Yeah. So I guess that's a little secret about it. There's not much I can think of where it's like, oh, maybe this wasn't, or maybe, you know.
I really like when people put a lot of attention to detail into the cover, because it's like before you listen is the first thing you see, right?
Absolutely. And it's why I don't do canvases on Spotify. Or like when they show the video, like it's like a loop video. Yeah. Well, ultimately it's because of that. Like when you think of certain albums from back in the day, if you think of Outkast, if you think of DMX, if you think of Beyonce, if you think of, you know what I mean, like the B-Day cover or Lovers Rocker, and the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill right now, what picture popped in your head?
The fate, yeah.
Literally, the sepia, the brown, the locks, her looking. And we don't have that anymore because people don't buy CDs anymore or cassettes, and vinyls is like this niche thing just now where it's like just to have. So it's important to me where I'm like, no, I still need them to very much look into this thing. 100%. That was this intentional choice to attach that to this body of work. So, you know, when I think of a seat at the table, beads, Solange, the power in it, that's always mattered to me. I want to have like a little coffee table book someday, a few of them, but I definitely want to have one of my covers. If you look back at all my covers, people will be like, girl, it's just a single. I'm like, I don't care.
It's important.
I've always, like my very first single, Siren, I worked with this amazing artist, Douglas Hale, and it was this photo that this guy, Jabari Jacobs, shot of me, and I had like long straight hair, and he took it and he edited it. He makes like collages and stuff, and like, this is how I wanted to feel. This is how, and that was my first single.
That's awesome.
I've always. Yeah.
No, that's cool. So your visual aesthetics are also very compelling, like your music.
Thank you.
What do you look for in creative direction in the video side?
Well, up until this point, I've been my creative director and like been able to collaborate with like my photographers, which have most of the time been my friends, which I'm so lucky for that. But I guess I really sit in it and I just think about the world it is I'm building. Like, I'm very like based in Afrofuturism. As of late, I've also been like leaning a bit into the past a bit in terms of like the comfort and the nostalgia and like the effortlessness of that world, of, you know, as well. So in creative direction, I just think of like what is going to tell a story. That's always what's important to me. I don't really care too much about things always being so pretty or looking so pretty, but it's like, what's the story, and is this pulling a feeling? Like, I want people to see something and I want them to feel it and be like, oh, no matter what it is. So that's the main thing in terms of my creative direction.
No, I love that, because like the music is one thing, but when you watch the video, it's like you have the audio story, but then you watch the visual story.
Yeah.
It can completely change the whole dynamic of the
Absolutely.
feel.
It's why like I only have one music video out, which is Loving You, which I did with the Togfather. And I waited 8 years to put out my first video, and he creative directed that entire video. Like, that was all him. He drew out every shot, sketched by hand, and was like, this is what I see for it. And I'm like, absolutely. Went to London to shoot it. Like, it was a dream.
That's awesome.
And it's just, it's one of those things, right? Like, a video, that's why you can't think of numbers, because something like that should have 100 million views. But when things are like such high art, like it's such a like intentional, like beyond brilliant concept, it's hard. Like sometimes in this day and age where people like need 6-second to 30-second like increments of content, it's hard to receive and like settle in on that type of art these days. That's why, I mean, back in the day we could though, and we loved videos, and that's why they could put 1 million or 2 or 3 into a video back in the day. But we just don't have the attention span anymore. So
because you at the beginning, well, I think it was around the pandemic time, right? You invested $20,000
into my virtual.
Yeah, that was awesome too, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I put like 15 of it of my own, and then Red Bull gave me 5. It was like, yeah, I was like, I want to do this, and it paid off. I made well over back like what I put into that.
No, for sure. Because even one of the videos is that like I was watching yesterday, 12 million views. Like your numbers are like up there. Some like a lot of the mainstream artists that are been doing music before you, like don't have that many views as you have.
It's really hard to like retain someone's attention. The thing about that video, I know the one that you're talking about, is that was literally as the world was shutting down. Just came back from Australia. That outfit was like the outfit that I wore opening for this tour. It was like March 19th, 2020, and we got back, and Triller was doing like a little like a performance. So I was like, oh, I'll shoot a performance for it and do it. And then I was like, well, what am I going to do with this? I'm supposed to, but it's like a 35 minute thing. And I was so shocked that people to this day, it's something to just put on. Like you would think like, oh, skip it. But like, I was really grateful for that.
Many people watched it?
Yeah. Cause it's so long. Yeah. I was like, who's going to,
59 minutes, right?
But is it?
Maybe.
It might be. It's anywhere between. Yeah. I was like, oh, but I think it might like the colors change and it's a little vibey thing to have on the screen, I guess. But I didn't think of it like that at all when I did it.
No, because one thing that you have, because today will be the first time I watch you perform.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, I've seen your video performances. But a lot of people are great, like musical performers on like recording, but then they're not good at like performing live.
It's
but
hard.
You have that, like you have it kind of thing, yeah, which is
I
amazing.
appreciate that because it's very hard for me. Like but I've been committing myself to growing out of my stage fright and being imperfect. It's hard. Like one of my favorite concerts is Lovers Rock Live, Sade, and there might be one person with like a handheld. There are no phones. Everyone is in the moment. Everyone is present in the moment. And that's what you feel when you watch the show. That's that feeling. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it's on YouTube.
No, I have to watch that, yeah.
It's incredible. I like putting it on, opening the window, cooking a meal or whatever. Like literally for years, that's my go-to. And these days, there's always a phone. There's always a phone. And I'm not 100% mad at it because when I go to a concert, me and my friends, we love a concert. So sometimes I want to capture some of it just to, look back at it. But some people keep out the whole show. And so that makes performing challenging because you want to connect. And also it makes you super get in your head about messing up and being imperfect because now that mistake is recorded forever. It's archives in the archives. And then, oh my God, the other day, something happened on stage and my pack came off and it swung and it threw off this whole moment. That's what the person posted. And but then they put a heart and a Saturn, like they just love her. So I'm like, why that one?
Yeah,
why?
Like out of all the clips.
Why that clip? So that I've had to surrender to being imperfect. And I realized that has helped me a bit with the stage fright. Like if I mess up, but I'm up here. And
Absolutely.
I'm doing it. So
do you think there's such thing as perfection though?
No, of course not.
No.
But I am a perfectionist, by the book. And I've been really working on healing through that, like as a part of like within my therapy and everything. Because perfectionism is a trauma response for sure. And like this, and you want control. And so working on surrendering and to the fact that we have none at all has been really helpful too. Like, fuck it. If I don't sing it perfectly, if it comes out wrong, like, whatever, I'm still me. I still wrote the shit. Like, it's still fire. I look good. So it's like, and I'm me. I sound good. I sound great. Like I've been working on that too, like embracing my voice. My whole life I've always struggled with that, especially being from Atlanta because it's church town. Everyone's belting and doing runs and their voices are so beautiful. And that was never like my bag. I didn't have that gift like that. I've just started working on accepting my voice like this year, I would say. It's just being like, you know what? Someone was saying, like, they're talking about vocal warm-ups and stuff like that, and they were like, one of the biggest things no one ever talks about in voice lessons is like the first key to like even feeling good about your voice is feeling good about it, feeling confident about it. The moment you start overthinking it, your vocal cords will literally, things start shifting. When you get nervous, you get not confident. It's why when you sing a high note, they tell you to think low. Think like, when you overthink it. And so now I've been working on, like improving in that way of just like, this is the voice God gave me. 100%. So this is what I got.
There's also beauty in imperfection too, right? Like, certain people are born different ways and this and that, but that everybody's always a copy and paste. So, one little change makes you more unique than other people.
Yeah. I was reading someone talking about that. Like, it's funny how now everyone's running towards imperfection and distortion. And you want to, like, make this screech in this way or make this rip this way. Like, I went to a McGee concert and it was beautiful. It was incredible. But it's like the way that sometimes he'll let something go in a way that it shouldn't. That's what you love. So
your music, it blends a lot of cosmic exploration and sensuality. With those being kind of different, how do you blend the both together?
I don't know. I feel like the cosmos are pretty sensual. When I think about like the stars and the universe and galaxies or how that all looks, it feels very like flowy and ethereal and yummy. Like it can also be very violent. You think of like other parts of space, but Yeah, it feels like the perfect match to
Mhm.
me, which I feel like is why I kind of naturally fall there.
Yeah.
Mm.
Just the idea of space is so scary to me because there's like
Mhm.
if we're one little dot of Earth
Yep.
in the orbit, you know, and
Mhm.
there's a billion planets.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It is. And the thing is though, because the funny thing is when people think of like outer space, it's like, but we are in it. We're
Mhm.
in space.
Yeah.
We're a part of it. We are floating just far enough away. I always say this. I'm probably so annoying to my friends. Every time it's like super hot outside, I'm like, we're just enough away, like 1 centimeter off and we're done as
Mhm.
far as how far we are from the sun.
Absolutely.
And that always blows my mind. And then it always blows my mind that like how big the sun is,
Mhm.
right? Because we're
Mhm.
like, oh, it looks so... A million Earths fit inside the sun.
It's crazy, right?
A million.
It's wild. And even thinking of the number million as
A
one planet.
million
Yeah.
into the sun. Yeah,
Mhm.
I think it's pretty cool. If they had made a way to like get close enough to the sun, like people talk about Mars and all that, I'd want to see like
What it
that
actually
kind
is.
of like beast up
Yeah.
close. We will never be able to,
Mm-mm.
but that would be my choice.
Would you want to go to Mars if you could?
No.
No?
Mm-mm.
Why no to Mars?
It just seems a little like...
It's a little bit too new, you know?
Well, no, not even that. Like I said, the sun is like that's a sight to see. But
Mhm.
also when it comes to Mars, like I get claustrophobic. Like when they talk about, oh, if you could live here, if we had to go there because the Earth would, I just have to like place my bid or just like end it right here at home. Just let life take me because the idea of having to keep a helmet on.
That's crazy.
Like the first thing, I also have asthma. So like the
Mhm.
first thing I would want to do is like, you just want to
Get a
take
breath of fresh
deep
air.
breath. You just
Mhm.
want to, anything you do, you're like, I'm going to take that. If you're a girl, you get home, you want to take off your bra. You want, you want release and you
Mhm.
want relief.
To relax,
And the
you don't
fact
wanna lose.
that we would be stuck up there with neither, kill me.
Imagine you're just chilling and then your oxygen tank just like turns
All of
off.
that too. Like
Yeah.
there's gonna be so much trial and error, and I have no want or desire to be an experiment or a guinea pig.
Mm-mm.
It's gonna be a lot of really like devastating, traumatizing things happening when we go try to like occupy this planet that wants nothing to do with us.
Oh,
Like if
straight
that
up.
was our planet, we'd be there.
Yeah.
It's not. So
You
we should
know-
just take care of the one that we have.
Oh, straight. Like, prices of houses might be getting a little bit more expensive, but, I'm fine with that markup right now.
Let's
It's
chill
not a
it
problem.
right here. Oh my God. Do you know the type of stuff? Like, I watch all the space movies. So the idea of like, oh, you got trapped out there and then, oh, your freaking mask came off and you just froze and then you cracked.
Hmm.
You freeze and then you just crack into death.
What's your favorite space movie? You saw that?
Interstellar
Oh, I was
is
just about
one
to
of
say that
my
one.
favorite movies. They were supposed to be playing because it was the 10-year anniversary.
Oh, has it been 10 years already?
Yeah, it's already been 10
Holy.
years. They were supposed to play it in film, like 35 millimeter, I think, at this theater, and I had put it in my calendar and everything. Then they canceled it. But
Oh, they canceled it?
yeah, I don't know why, but that was
Mhm.
that's one of my favorite space movies. Space Odyssey,
Mhm.
obviously.
I don't know if
Stanley
I've seen that
Kubrick.
one. There was one with Sandra
Really?
Bullock, I think.
Gravity.
Was that it? Yeah, I forgot the name. Yeah.
You have to see Space Odyssey.
I have to.
Yeah, it's like a classic. Like there would be no Interstellar, any of these other space movies
Who's
without
in that
that.
one again? Sorry, you're
I
saying
don't
before.
know. I don't know the lead guy's name, but it's Stanley Kubrick. Like it's his film. Like
Okay.
that's where what's the song? Like when they have the huge black pillar and the apes are all like looking at it, and is it the dun, dun,
Oh,
dun, like what?
Isn't that Star Wars?
No,
I
no,
think
no.
that's Star Wars.
I almost went Star Wars. No,
Yeah.
it's the it's a dun, dun. It's like a huge. Now I want to play it.
Yeah. I'll
Boom. Play it. Somebody play
All
it.
right, let me.
Yeah,
I'll
it's
pull it-
like
pull it up.
it's well, everybody uses that song and everything now, but that's the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like Space Odyssey.
Space Odyssey theme. Well, all right, let's hear. I'm gonna be like, oh my god, I know that one.
You will.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's. I've used this before.
Yeah.
To make an entrance somewhere.
That's the one.
As a classic. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Holy.
And they have this room. It's like this white, glowy green, like this room, and they did this, someone made a replica of it. I think it was a replica. I don't know if it was the actual one, but in this exhibit, and like I went to, it was so cool. It was so freaking cool.
That sounds cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you know, the whole concept of space is like you go out the space shuttle, you go down, you fix something, you go back.
Mm-hmm.
But there's like so many different movies. It's pretty creative how they're able to do that.
It's cool. I also really like, I mean, this isn't a film, but that one episode of Black Mirror. Do you watch Black Mirror?
Oh, I love that show, yeah.
The one when they're, he goes into the game and then it's like,
with his boy,
yeah, and they're like all on the little spaceship and he gets to like rule the world in there.
Oh, that was with Matt Damon, that one, right?
No, Matt's not in that. What is this guy's name? There
was one space one Matt Damon, and there was one where they were like playing, and then they were two friends, and then they would like put the thing. And
you're thinking about the one with Nicole Beharie, I believe. Maybe. When they play it's like the two guys and their friends, and they start loving on each other.
Yeah.
This one is literally about, I forget what they call the spacecraft, but this guy made this game and he goes into his office, he puts this thing in his ear, and it changes his reality. Like he goes into the game.
Yeah.
And he has this whole like space cadet, like this whole team, and he's like abusing them and mistreating them in there because he's like the boss in there.
He's the boss. He gets to control it.
Yeah, that's a really good little space vibe too. It's so scary
that one
though.
Was really good. I think that's one of the longest episodes that they did.
It was really long, but it was good. I love that actor. He was in Black Mass. He's been in so much stuff, but I can't think of his name right now. But
yeah, I'll look it up after. That's one thing about that show too. Like, you know, there's so many different episodes, but each one is like a prediction of the future, and then it's also like so intense. It's like a whole movie.
Yeah, well, you know, like during 2020, they we're not putting it out this year. Like reality's bad enough as it is. They did that.
Yeah, I was
like, damn it. No, we're good. I love Black Mirror.
No, that's cool. So what are like some of your favorite? Because I saw downstairs too, part of the merch is like some anime inspired. So
yeah, what's some of my favorite
TV shows and stuff like that? You do.
I watch everything. It's so funny because sometimes I feel like I should, like, people want more of like a streamlined answer. Like, I just like this. But I watch everything from, like, The Gentleman was one of my favorite series this year on Netflix.
I watched that one. Yeah. Was it good?
Oh, it's so good. I can't wait to watch the next season. But I also love White Lotus, which is such a great show as well. Then I watched Sex and the City, and the other day I was watching Little Bear, or I'll watch reruns of Roly Poly Oly. Like, honestly, it's whatever is like soothing me at the time. Like, I like really intense, deep thrillers, psychological type shows. Like, we were watching, we binged, what was that show? Presumed Innocent with Jake Gyllenhaal on Apple TV.
Yeah.
My God, like, we started at 4 in the afternoon and went to bed at like 5 in the morning or something.
Those
like, we had to finish. I couldn't go to bed without knowing what the fuck. But yeah, I'm pretty like, I watch reruns of Girlfriends, reruns of Scandal, reruns of Girls. Like, I watch everything, truly. I used to watch way more reality TV, but in the last few years, like, that's something that has like tapered off. Yeah, because it used to be so good. Like Tiffany Pollard. Like, I like that, you know, like some real shit. Now it's just like...
Being at the position of your career that you are now, you know, if you were to go back and give your younger self some advice just starting out, what would that be?
So just relax and know, like, it all works out exactly as it's supposed to. Like, if I could think about being in the world and like doing everything it was I did, but with a little less stress, a little less anxiety, a little more of a regulated nervous system, like, it would have made things a lot easier. And that is important for me to even say now, because it's a reminder to me now, you know, like, I'm sure my future self would say that to me now. But yeah, just everything works out as supposed to. Comparison really is a thief of joy. You cannot look at what everybody else has or what they're doing. It has nothing to do with you. And also, you know, like, I knew this when I was young too, and I used to say this. This was the thing that kept me from comparing myself to other people's success, is like, that's their blessings. I would never want to like trade places with someone, even if I was given the chance. So it would be a reiteration of that too, like a reminder of, don't compare yourself to other people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, I like that you said that too, because, you know, a lot of people always ask, if you were to go back and like restart, you know, knowing what you know now, would you go back and do that? But it would just change the whole
It would
output of your
change
life.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't change a thing. I've been through some shit and I wouldn't change any of it. But I would, if I could, let her relax a little bit more. That would be nice. Yeah. So that's I've been doing that a lot lately too. Like I said, surrender. Everything has been about like surrendering to me lately. Like, okay. Like the most thing I've been stressing about on this tour is like the bank playing with my money. Like, oh, we don't know if it's legit. We gotta wait for it to clear. Y'all are gonna clear this money so I could pay these people that are here working with me. Like that's 100%. My biggest stress because it's about other people. But I've just been kind of surrendering to everything as of late.
No, that's cool. So what's been your favorite part of the tour so far?
The meet and greets. Meeting everybody is so sweet. Like so many different personalities, but it makes the music really real. With, again, we talked about no CDs, no cassettes, like no IRL experiences. So there's something really beautiful about something outside of a stream, outside of like a follow, but like really being able to feel the impact of like this music within these people's lives, because it's like that's how we connect, and that's what's important. I always say like my music isn't about me. Even when I write it, I always say like I'm just channeling. Like whatever comes out is what I feel God wants to come out. And so I want to help leave my little contribution to the world healing. And in the world healing, it's like you don't do it all at once. It's through each other. It's through people. So it feels nice to be able to be to some what my favorite artists are to me and what they mean to me, you know. So that's been the best part.
No, that's actually beautifully incredible. And was there a moment like with the fan interaction that you were able to talk and it kind of like changed your perspective as an artist? Like I've been like told like some people come up to them and be like, you know, it helped me get over this and stuff like that. Yeah, I
hear that a lot, like about breakups and things like that. Recently at one of the shows, this girl told me how many moments, like big core moments, my music's been a part of for her. And recently she just gave birth and they played Nothing Without You while she was giving birth, because they're like, is there anything you want to listen to that'll calm you down? Like, and it made me think about a time when there was someone I ran into on the street who sadly had experienced his mother passing, and he played Nothing Without You at her homegoing. And so when she said that about giving birth, and people have played this song at their weddings, it's like that I don't take lightly, and it makes me like stuff like that makes me really emotional, because like that is what life is about, and it makes you just feel more connected. Like I feel like very supportive in these moments in people's lives. So yeah, it means a lot to me.
No, that's like a full circle of knowing that you're doing everything right too, right?
Yeah. It's like this music and this art being able to like have this place in these heavy or light or big or transformative moments. Even people who do pole to this music or dance to it or are just, you know, having girls' nights with their friends, or, you know, like so many different things. It all is equally as like impactful to me to be like, okay, we're doing it. Like this is what it's about, and it's doing exactly what it needs to do.
No, that's incredible. I can literally talk to you for hours, but I know that you have a time constraint right now.
I do. I gotta go perform.
I'm going to ask you one more thing, and then we're going to sign off. When people listen to your music, what do you want them to experience?
I want them to experience love for themselves, love for a partner or their friends, fun and healing. Like I want them to celebrate being human and just being. So whether it's a song about not being able to get over someone, or a song about falling in love for the first time, or being hopeful about life, like I just want them to feel love and healing. Yeah.
No, I love that. And I just want to say thank you so much for giving me some of your time.
Thanks for having me. This has been really fun. Thank you.
No, for sure. And let's definitely do this again when you are back in town.
Yeah.
We're very excited to watch you perform. And, you know, down the road, you're gonna have to definitely show me one of those French fries because that's supposed to
Oh
change my life.
yeah, I'm gonna try to figure out a way. Dang, like borders are hard because like even when we were coming over here, they like y'all got any food in here, like any. But I gotta figure out a way to ship you some of those. I wonder if it can make it past customs. We gotta get you some Checkers
We're gonna have
fries.
to call up the presidents and be like, "Yo, special delivery."
Listen,
do it right now.
we gotta get him these fries, y'all. Come on.
That's another episode. God bless. Drink water. Don't do drugs. Stay in school. God bless.
God bless.